Good morning, collections management students. This is Cynthia, and Ann and I were really excited to meet all of you yesterday, and hopefully you got off to a great start with our collections management course this semester. This is our Monday morning message, and we have some things we want to share with you and walk you through a few things just to make sure you're all tucked in with the coming assignments. So the first thing I want to share with you is we did post Brian's email address, and it's right here. So if you have a minute, please send him a thank you email for coming in on Sunday morning to share some of those resources and tools through Chris Library with us. Those will be really helpful, especially Novelist. So go ahead and send him a thank you. And then I'm going to go over to our course materials, and down through here, we did go to our assignment template, and that is now, we have that updated for you. The Honoring the Who template has our student group 1, the title that we're asking you to choose, and then your 2 criteria and the rationale for each of those criteria. So that template has been updated for you. It is in a PDF and in a Word doc, and you can recreate that yourself, or you can use what we have for you. Again, the template for 4.3 is also listed in that template folder under assignment templates. We have the rubrics for those 2 assignments listed. Honoring the Who Part A, which will be your student description. That rubric is listed. Part B is the rubric is listed, and 4.3 using the what. So you would want to go in and take a look at those rubrics so that you can see what our expectation is, so that you are getting your full points, and citation will be a part of that as well. So those are there for you. And then as far as our exit ticket, we did go through those and do some grading, and so those grades will be in the grade book. One thing we wanted to mention is that if you did miss a point or 2 on the exit ticket, we want you to keep in mind that as far as tasks, we're not asking a great many tasks of you this semester, but we are asking for a lot of thought. And like Dr. Pasco said in her opening comments, we really want you to lean in, and we really want you to dig deep and reflect a lot on the things that we're talking about and discussing, and what things you are not clear about, or what your thoughts are. So we're really asking for a large amount of thought and depth of thought with those reflections. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. I'm going to take a look at our discussion board, and these are ready for you to start working on your assignments. So there is a thread started for Part A, and that's going to be the description of your 3 student groups. Now, we did see a lot of comments in our exit tickets on thoughts about who to talk to. So really think about, in your school, who are the people that see kids, who maybe see the kids that are struggling, kids that might have issues. Who are those resources that you can fall back on? We talked about counselors, we talked about special ed teachers, we talked about a lot of different people, homeroom teachers. So really think about who are the other people in your building that you can kind of go to and ask questions and see who's there that maybe you're not aware of. And that's part of having relationships with the people that you work with in the building. And so aside from your relationships and connections with your students, you really want to be mindful of the relationships you have with the staff, because sometimes in the library you may not hear all of that information. So you really need to have some people that you can kind of go to and make sure that if there's something that you need to know, or a need that you need to meet with a student or group of students, that you're able to do that and have that information. So that is Part A. Part B is listed here, and you can attach those templates to your discussion. So for example, I'm just going to open this one up and create my thread. And so you would start, and if you want to start it with your last name, you can. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, but down here is where you would attach your template. Just one thing you'll want to keep in mind is that it needs to be in a format that we can read. So probably PDF would be best, or Word doc would be fine as well. Again, if you're typing in the text box, you're going to want to do that in a place other than the discussion board, just in case it gets lost or deleted. And let's see, go back to that discussion board, and then down at the bottom we've got 4.3, which is going to be using the what, and you're going to be taking a look at those tools that we talked about yesterday, Tidal Wave and Mackin and Novelist, and then some of the other resources, and I'll go through those in a minute. And then you've got a template there for your reference as well. And you're going to be going back to that ALA selection criteria and really looking at what are the guidelines that you use in choosing quality items for your library. In course materials, we talked very briefly about the tools for choosing items. So this is really a great resource. We've got lots and lots of stuff in here. Here is the Novelist webinar, which I would highly recommend that you take some time and take a look at. Novelist is such a huge treasure, and we are so very lucky to have access to that through Chris Library and then through the Nebraska Library Commission. So that's a great resource. We've got School Library Journal link there. We didn't talk a whole lot about blogs, but there are some really great librarian blogs out there, and so Ann and I put together a list for you. And these are great places for you to just kind of check in and see what they're talking about and what they're reading and what they're doing with their students. Some of them are K-12, some of them are elementary, some of them are just high school, so you can find those people and then see who they talk to. And that will help you kind of create a little network of librarians that you kind of keep an eye on to see what they're up to, so that if they come across something kind of cool, you can always make sure that you know about that. Again, here was a list of some librarians to follow on Twitter and Instagram. And Midwest Librarian Chat is a chat that we do twice a month. And you'll hear more about that. We'll be having one in the next couple weeks, and so I'll be sharing some information with you about that, so that if you want to jump into a Twitter chat or just watch, that is also a great place to get great ideas and make great connections with other professionals. So that's a super great resource. In course materials, I did add at the bottom, I did add an academic freedom resource, and the reason I did that was we had some comments in the exit tickets about policies on parent notification and how do we let, who and how and why do we let parents know about books, and we'll be talking more about that, but the Code of Ethics, the AASL position statements, very important. You're going to want to read through those, and the ALA Library Bill of Rights, which relates to the student's right to read. You're going to want to look through these kind of in preparation for that last class when Dr. Pasco comes to visit with us. But these are things that you really want to take a look at and have a pretty good working knowledge, because this is kind of our professional guideline, and this is where you're going to kind of start as you create your collection and manage your library. This is the bar that is set as far as professional ethics and integrity. So these are great resources, and I would encourage you to take a look at those, read through them, and have some good solid knowledge of that. We did have a few questions about deselection and weeding, and we'll talk more about that as we get closer to our second class. But just kind of keep in mind as you're doing assignment 4.3 that selection and deselection are very, very similar. They're just kind of in reverse. So as you're working through 4.3, just kind of know that as you select things and the criteria through that ALA criteria you're going to use that same type of criteria to maybe take things out of your library. So we'll be talking more with you about that. I do want to go just very quickly into Tidal Wave, and we had some really great comments in the exit tickets about not being comfortable going to one resource, and that's a really great insight for you to keep in mind. You don't want to just have one fallback resource. Tidal Wave and Follett and Mackin, you make it very easy to do all of your collections in one place, but you really want to have some other tools in your pocket to find things, and that might be Barnes & Noble, that might be Scholastic, that might be there are lots of other places. So you want to be mindful that you may have to work a little harder to get access to some of those other vendors aside from just the big ones, because they make it super easy, but you want to always be mindful that there's lots and lots out there, and you want what's best for your kids, not what's easiest to get. So I'm just gonna very quickly do a search in Tidal Wave, and I want to just kind of go through again. Anne talked about the curriculum tags and the Tag Explorer, which is a great resource. Over here you have a way of kind of filtering down. If you really are just looking for some paperbacks, it's something that you just need to get quickly and rather inexpensively, and know that it's going to probably not be in your library for very long. There's your paperback. You could search just for ebooks if that's something that you're specifically looking for. You've got your interest level, you've got your reading levels. This is going to be a great place for this assignment that we're working on. If you would happen to type in butterflies and you need a fiction book, click fiction, and there we go. We have fiction on butterflies only, nonfiction. So that's a place for you to kind of narrow down. You've got your reading programs. This is a big one. Languages, English, Spanish, Chinese, French, and Korean, and more languages. Just be careful with these vendors. They will show you what is out there. That may not actually be what they can get for you, but you can kind of get yourself a list of books in other languages if you use this tool. But then you may have to go to another source to actually get your hands on those, so keep that in mind. So it's not one tool is going to do everything for you, and you want to make sure that you are not relying on just one tool, but you're going to a lot of sources, and that does take time. But as you go and as you mold your collection, you will find that the tools that you need, you'll find, and you'll have your own toolbox that's specific to your kids and your collection. So if we come up with more things we want to share with you, one more thing I want to tell you. When you click on your title, you can go down, you've got some suggestions, you've got your overview, you've got your publisher recommendation, which is always going to be super awesome, go ahead and buy it. But then you've got your full text reviews, and these are going to be your independent assessment evaluation of that title. So take the time to read through those and really be mindful of who you're getting your books for and what their specific needs are. So we'll be in touch with more information, and feel free to email us. We will also be sharing with you our virtual office hours in the next couple of days, so be watching for that. And have a great day, everybody, and stay warm.